It's Ben O'Shea from the West Australian in Perth. How are you?
I'm okay, Ben. How are you, Doc?
Eh, Man, congratulations on the movie. How is Daffy Duck feeling about this film opening in Australia?
All I have to say is about time that I got my own movie. Forget about that pig, my co-star. He's a bit of a camera hog. Hey, I'm right here.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to keep them separated in this booth. Not
Yeah,
Not enough room for the three of us.
yeah,
but yeah, just very excited. It's as a Looney Tunes fan, I'm sure you are as well. And we had a very very cool sneak peek at Warner Brothers Movie World. I know a few weeks back, and just to see all the folks in Australia very excited about this film is very very near and dear to my heart. And to know that, no surprise that again these characters are globally known. So I'm happy that you guys will finally get to enjoy it on the big screen.
yeah, amazing. Like you talk about keeping them separate in the booth. What does the inside of your head look like?
It's full of doctor's bills. All my doctors, all the psychiatric help that I found. No, yeah, this is my therapy right now. Getting to talk to you. If I'm not talking to myself with you, I'm definitely talking to myself in traffic on the way to the airport in Los Angeles. Here, a great way to pass the time. Uh, yeah. I have to credit Mel Blanc. Without him, I wouldn't have these voices in my head. And he was the original voiceover artist that perfected these performances over 90 years ago now. They're 90 years old, if you could believe it. But again, it just all the proof of the hard work that he poured into his life's work, really. He poured into these iconic, larger-than-life characters.
We have to act fast, and there's only one person that can do the job. Daffy Duck. Daffy?
Oh, no, not the duck.
Man.
The duck?
That's right, the duck.
You gotta be kidding me. Who greenlit this garbage?
And when did you know that this was a talent that you had? Was it something that you were doing as a kid?
Oh, definitely. Even as a kid, at best, we're running around doing voices, and it just sounds like a kid doing voices. But as I got older, the reaction that I had when I was younger was still there. There was the laughs that I would get, and I assume you can relate, being an on-air personality yourself, a journalist. You were probably the one in class that was not shy to use their voice, or, people you command a room with the voice. I would get laughs, and that would always be the reason for me to keep finding the next voice to do, like impress them with another different impression that I just discovered last week. And, it just so happens that I love the Looney Tunes. Like, I would watch these characters endlessly. And aside from inspiring me to do voices, they also kind of inspired me to be a cartoonist. So, in many ways, yeah, it was an early on kind of prediction or a foreshadowing into what I'd be doing later in my life.
And did you have a sort of a pet impression that you did as a kid that just always killed?
Well, growing up, one of my favorite movies was Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and that featured all of the Looney Tunes characters.
Does anybody understand what this duck is saying? It's the last time I work with a duck with a speech impediment.
That was like Daffy versus Donald. And,
What's up, Doc? Jumping without a parachute? Kinda dangerous, ain't it?
when Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny were on screen. As a kid, and even as an adult still, I still think that if I walk down to Warner Brothers Studios, I'll still see Bugs Bunny walking on the sidewalk there, waiting for his next audition.
Yeah, that combination of animated and live action in Roger Rabbit. Like, I remember as a kid watching that, it just made my brain explode at the possibilities. And, we probably had a very similar, upbringing in terms of, like you're watching cartoons on a Saturday morning or after school. Like, how do you feel these days with the generation of kids who maybe don't have that and they're watching YouTube?
Yeah, they're spoiled. My 9-year-old son, he's spoiled. He can watch cartoons anytime he wants. You and I had to wait. We had to wait We had to watch commercials. You know, these guys press a button and a pizza comes from the sky. You know, it's crazy. But this is the world we live in, and I can relate to my parents, you know, watching me fry my brain with Nintendo and Sega Genesis. You know, that was a different era, but we turned out okay.
We did it.
Yeah, we did okay. And the best part about kids these days, that's a catchphrase that only old people say. Kids these days, is that they still like to go outside and play with worms and rub dirt in their hair, read comic books. They still like the same old stuff that we did. It's just that you just had YouTube and the whole meme culture. It's funny how they get Bugs Bunny from memes and not even know who this character is. I'm like, oh. I go, well, let me show you. I guess that's the thing is that we are the ones now that are to guide the youth of the leaders of tomorrow, the youth of today. This is a Bugs Bunny cartoon. Now watch it from start to finish. There are no ads you need to click through. Just watch this cartoon, and hope. I think that's the thing is you got to bring them to the theater to see this. And I brought my son on Sunday to a regular theater. This was the first non-work related event where we had to watch the movie. This was just us with the general public. And I looked around and there was a pretty good amount of families in there. And I was just telling other folks, like during the credits, that people were just got up and started dancing to the music, this classic Looney Tunes score. And I'm like, wow, it really has struck a chord with people that just like old cartoons. So I'm just really happy.
Yeah, it's a funny film. Like there's one bit that just had me just almost crying, laughing towards the end, and Daffy's talking about being probed on the beaches, probed in the French Riviera, probed in a truck stop restroom, and I was like, oh no, they didn't. That's
a lot of that stuff was written. A lot of that stuff was ad-libbed by myself. There were some lines where the alien gum was trying to get into Daffy's mouth, and he goes,
I barely even know you. I barely even know you.
Yeah, that was apparently something I had come up with. This is why Warner Brothers is Warner Brothers and Disney will be Disney. You know what I mean? Like, Disney will always be the pristine, the right example. Warner Brothers is the break the fourth wall. We're just a little bit grittier than everyone else. Probably one of the first animated works to spoof celebrities. I don't think I've ever seen another cartoon where they've made more fun of Frank Sinatra in animation history, as well as political jokes. They were doing like a lot of war cartoons back in the day. So yeah, it's always been kind of what attracted me to these specific characters, is that they were just a little bit more like, that was, a little secret joke for just you and me, Yeah. So.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but was your Looney Tunes debut with Marvin the Martian? And I'm curious to know what Marvin would say now if he could see how your career has turned out.
You are correct, sir. I've been voicing Marvin for 15 Earth years. Isn't that lovely? I do enjoy your show, Ben, but it blocks my view of Venus.
Which character is your favorite to play?
I'd say Bugs Bunny, Doc. And if there's any proof that, manifestation is real, it would have to be this career.
I've always had a Bugs Bunny shirt on as a kid. There's photos of me online in the 8th grade where I'm wearing this button-up Bugs Bunny shirt that I bought at Six Flags Magic Mountain theme park. People thought I was wearing a pajama top. They're like, why are you wearing your pajamas to school? I'm like, this is an adult garment. It has buttons, and I will be buried in this thing. The characters will always be with me. I would have been wearing these, those cartoon T-shirts, even if I weren't the voices of the characters. So that's how much they mean to me.
And which one do you think that you identify with the most, maybe unintentionally?
Unfortunately, Daffy Duck all the way, and I think I speak for everyone on this Zoom call when I say, you all want to be me. Don't lie. Everyone wants to be Daffy.
Yeah, it's just no filter, and it's just filled with self-belief. It's a good way to be.
I think after Larry David left HBO, we got to get a Curb Your Daffy like kind of TV show where Daffy's just walking around Hollywood, you know.
What do you mean this latte's $12?
Yeah.
Yeah. From your from your lips to some studio executive's ear, I hope.
I mean, could you imagine? I could. I'm imagining it right now.
Yeah. Well, look, you get the green light from me. Tell me about making Space Jam a new legacy. Did you get to meet LeBron?
Oh, yes, I did. And you're talking about a kid who grew up in the 90s watching the original Space Jam. So, you know, in my upbringing, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, would be Michael Jordan. So you can imagine that, you know, I'm in this room with the current GOAT, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, like so many questions. And he was a very, very lovely man, gentleman, also a family guy himself. And to see, I don't think anyone else could have brought the characters back the way that he did. And, you know, to see where he's come from, the kind of life that he's led as an NBA All-Star champion. And just, you know, again, bringing it back to him being a family man himself, it was really cool to see him make this movie kind of centered around his family and relationship with, you know, his kids, and why not mix the Looney Tunes in there? And for me, that was like a full circle moment because, you know, not a lot of people know this, but, you know, when we end this call or when you finish reading this article, go to YouTube and Google two things. There's Air and Hair Jordan. So that was a Nike Super Bowl commercial in 1992, which first paired Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan against these bullies that were bullying Bugs Bunny in a gym. And then it was so popular that 2 years later, 1994, they made a follow-up commercial called Aerospace Jordan.
And with Bugs Bunny
and Michael Jordan
and Marvin the Martian. Ooh, I will have all the Air Jordans on Earth.
So he steals all the Air Jordans, and 2 years after that is when Space Jam came.
Yeah, amazing.
I'm a big nerd, is what I'm saying.
And also, you know, like LeBron sort of followed in the footsteps of Jordan, like you followed in the footsteps of Mel Blanc. So really, you and LeBron basically the same.
I mean, we had clearly a new legacy was the appropriate title. And again, this was just on the eve of lockdown and shelter in place. So I did manage to get like a good 3 in-person sessions with LeBron before we all had to just kind of, you know, duck and cover for safety. And then at the tail end of the pandemic, when we were able to go back to studios, they asked me to go on set to supply the voice of, you know, the characters for one pickup scene that they needed to finish the film. And it was on my birthday. So on a walkie-talkie, under 5 face shields, 3 masks, you know, LeBron still recognized me even under all that protective gear, which is a testament to, you know, his memory and how he keeps, you know, friendships and relationships. He was very, very kind.
Oh, that's so good. And has Elmer Fudd been working on his 3-point shot?
Oh, you know, they put me on the bench permanently. Sorry there, pal. You're going back to the G League.
And so The Day the Earth Blew Up is the first entirely original theatrical release for the Looney Tunes franchise, and it's Daffy and Porky at the center of it. Like, does Bugs feel like a little bit jealous of that?
Well, let them have their moment in the sun. We all know that mine is coming up soon, Doc. We'll see.
But yeah, if you're a big Looney Tunes fan like myself, we're all familiar with Sylvester and Tweety. We're all familiar with
Rabbit Season, Duck Season.
We're all familiar with all those pairings, but Porky and Daffy was a very popular pairing of Looney Tunes characters in that entire golden age of animation. Every time you would, hit start or press play on a Porky and Daffy short, you would always go, "Oh, poor Porky. Like, how is Daffy going to ruin this guy's life today?" It's just entertaining. You kind of are like, "Oh, I hate to see it happen, but I'm glad it's not me."
Yeah, it's a beautiful odd couple dynamic that I think works so well, and it's so funny to see them play this off. And also, like I was very fascinated to read that that you've filled in for Antonio Banderas on Puss in Boots. It's tell me about getting into that character.
Ah, yes. Well, I'm the one who says, "Fear me if you dare."
I'm kind of for whatever reason I can do that. I just can't imitate his physical perfection. I don't do any crunches. Let's just put it that way. But if he's busy, or if, for instance, many occasions with DreamWorks, if they are ramping up to do a movie, and they're already sure, Antonio's going to come back, they will just ask someone like me to kind of temp in a performance to kind of just show, they call it scratch dialogue, temporary dialogue, but I'm in there working with the director of the film to kind of flesh out these scenes that need to be pitched to DreamWorks for them to approve it. And then once it's all approved, then they get Antonio, he goes, "Okay, I will take it from here. Thank you, Eric." And then that's it. Then I still get a little money for my son's college and braces. He's gonna get crooked teeth, but it's amazing what we get to do as voice performers sometimes, and that even means filling in Puss in Boots for commercials whenever he's too busy. So, thank goodness. Stay busy, Antonio. Yeah.
That's uncanny. Do you have any celebrity impersonations that you don't have to use professionally, but that you bring out at parties to amuse your friends?
Well, every time I leave Canada and come back to the United States of America, I always say, look, these Canadian voice actors, they're very polite, but they're going to take all the iconic American voices. We got to put tariffs on Canadian words, okay? Words like Tim Hortons Donuts and I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. I should stop using that voice until my green card gets approved.
Oh my gosh. That's that's what I was hoping for, but I didn't want to put you on the spot. So Eric, thank you.
He is, after all, he's my favorite Looney Tunes character.
Yeah. We don't need to go any more into that. It would derail the interview. So we're getting to the end, and I'd just love to know, like, as someone like me who grew up watching these characters as a kid, like, what do you hope that kids and families take away from the day the Earth blew up?
That you can always count on the Looney Tunes for a good laugh. That's all we're here for. If the troubles of real life are getting to you, get your family, kids, and a big bucket of popcorn, and go to the theater and we watch our movie. And when you step out of the film, you'll have trouble figuring out what's a cartoon and what's real life.
Yeah, I think it's a nice break from your 9 to 5. And it's 90 minutes of, like you said, wall-to-wall laughs. The way the Looney Tunes...
Without the help of AI or any professional basketball players.
Just pure unfiltered Looney Tunes.
Oh, unfiltered indeed. Eric, it has been an absolute treat to talk to you. Would you like to take us out?
I mean, there's only one way. That's your cue, Porky. Oh, that's all, folks.